So one of the things that they tell you early on as a priest is that you have to start investing. And they say that because as priests, when we retire, the diocese doesn't provide for us. We have to have everything provided for as we retire. So over the last decade or so, I've been learning about retirement. And one of the things that I have come across is this whole notion of an irrevocable trust. An irrevocable trust. So it's a trust that you can set up that once you set up the arrangements and place your money into that trust, it is irrevocable. It's unchangeable. So you better know what you're doing when you put your money in there. It's irrevocable. You can't change it. You can't adjust it. If you're a parent and you all of a sudden don't like one of your kids, he's still going to get the money. It's irrevocable. And so I thought of that as I came across the second reading today, which is this phrase, the gifts and the call of God are irrevocable. The gifts and the call of God are irrevocable. So that means that no matter what we do, no matter how bad we are, it's never going to change. God's gifts and call are irrevocable. They cannot be changed. So I want to talk about each one of those things real quick. 3 things. So gifts, call, and irrevocable. First of all, our gifts. So God has given to us gifts in this life. And first of all, I want each and every one to realize that you yourself are a gift. So when God conceived you and created you in your mother's womb, you were like a present just waiting to be opened for this world. You were a gift to your parents, even if they didn't appreciate you. You were a gift to them. You are a gift to the world. Even if the world doesn't appreciate you, you are a gift to them. But not only are you a gift just by being a person created in the image and likeness of God and given to the world, just as Jesus was. He was a gift to the world, so are you. But we've also been given gifts, and these gifts are irrevocable. And it's important that each and every one of us knows what our gifts are, and I'm speaking specifically about the gifts and the fruits of the Holy Spirit. So love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, all of the gifts and fruits of the Holy Spirit. And I want you to think about that, and if you don't know what your gift is, you got some homework for this week. I'd like you to look up the gifts and the fruits of the Holy Spirit, read them. If you don't know what one of them is, and you're like, what does that word mean? Open the dictionary or Google it and find out what that word means and meditate on that and think and pray and ask God, okay, what are the gifts that you have given to me? Those gifts that he's given to you in a unique way are irrevocable. They're never going to go away. So you'll use them in different aspects throughout your life, whether you're a child or whether you're a parent or whether you're a student or whether you're a priest or whatever you are. He wants to use these gifts for the world. And the gifts are irrevocable. I think about an artist, or anybody that's in the creative field. There's always this thing haunting an artist that someday he's going to lose his gift. Someday he or she is going to lose the inspiration that drives them. But if it's from God, it's irrevocable. It's never going to go away. You're going to always have that gift no matter what you do or experience throughout your life. So that's the first part, is to realize that you yourself are a gift. And by being a gift, it's irrevocable. So no matter how off course you get in life, no matter how bad you may become or the horrible things you may do or the sin that you may get involved in, it doesn't change the absolute fact that you are a gift. You're a gift for the world, you're a gift from God, and you have gifts that are irrevocable. So the second thing is the call. We all have a call in our lives. And the call for us begins in baptism. So for each and every one of us who have been baptized, your call is holiness. We're called to be holy. We're called to become like God here in this world and to reveal God here in this world. And I love saying, and realizing that call of holiness will never go away. So I have some baptized friends that are Catholic that have not been to church in years, right? And they will start to say to me, I can't go into church. The place will set on fire if I go in there. The place will break down, crumble if I go into church. Part of them believes that. But the reality is the call to holiness never goes away. And so anything that we've done, anything that we've experienced in our life that takes us away from that holiness doesn't keep us from being holy, because that's who we are as our identity. Now, certainly if we get ourselves away from being holy, or if we get ourselves entrapped in grave and serious sin, it calls us to reconciliation, calls us to come to confession, calls us to be reconciled to the Lord, and to remember and reestablish our identity as holy. So that's the second thing. The call will never go away. So for each and every one of you, the call that you received in baptism will never go away. There's two other unique calls that never go away. One is priesthood. So when I was ordained a priest, in the funeral rite for priests, it comes from scriptures. It says, "You are a priest forever." This call to priesthood never goes away. And sometimes people will ask me that. I don't know why they would ever say this to a priest, because I can't imagine they would say it to married couples, but they would say, like, "Do you ever think you'll leave the priesthood?" And I'm just like, thank you. No, the call doesn't go away. Just like a married couple, you wouldn't go up to them and say, "Hey, do you guys ever think you're going to get divorced?" Like, no, the call is permanent. So when husband and wife make those commitments together, it's until death do you part. It's a permanent call that never goes away. So I invite you to think about that. If you're struggling in your marriage, remember that you've been given this promise by God that call is permanent. It's irrevocable. So if you're married, you cannot walk away from your marriage. If you're married, you are together for your entire life. For good or for bad, through sickness and health, that call is irrevocable. And finally, this notion of being irrevocable. It's hard for us to understand this because we live in such a disposable culture, where we have things that are revoked all the time, So we have an iPhone and they come up with an iPhone 12. All of a sudden this one's bad, we got to ditch it, we get rid of it, right? We have this culture where we're constantly just letting go of things, giving up things, moving on to the next thing. And this irrevocableness is so hard for us to understand. So first of all, with all three, the gifts that we have are irrevocable. They're never going to go away. The call that you have received to holiness is never going to go away. If you're married, that call is never going to go away. If you're a priest, that's never going to go away. It is irrevocable. And as I was reading one of these articles about an irrevocable trust, it said in the end, you better know what you're doing if you make an irrevocable trust, because it's for life, it's for good, there's no changes. And I think that's true for all of us. We better know what we're doing with the gifts that God has given to us, with the vocation that we're called to live, and also with the reality that it is irrevocable. And so you have some homework for this week. To meditate upon your gifts, to realize the gifts that you have been given, to really pray about that and say, "God, what are the gifts and talents that you've given to me?" And realize that if they're given to you, they're never going to go away. The second is to reflect on your call. So if you are married, to renew your commitment to marriage. If you're single, to reflect on how God is calling you to live amidst that single life. If you're thinking about priesthood or religious life, that God is calling you and he'll never remove that call. And finally, that we dwell in the security of that irrevocableness. That we remember for ourselves, I am a gift, and nothing changes that. No matter what people think about me, no matter what happens in my life, I am a gift. I have a call, and that call is irrevocable.